You're listening to The Last Straw, the show about reclamation, reinvention, and momentum, hosted by executive leadership and reinvention strategist, Christy Straw.
So welcome to the Last Straw podcast, where we don't do the polished version of your story. Everybody knows this, right? We don't do the polished version of anything around here, and we do the real one. So what I'm super excited about today is to introduce to you my friend and also a client, Tristen Stawicki is here with us today. So what's up, girl?
I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, I am so happy that you are here. And so what brought you into town? Tell everybody.
You always know we had this incredible event last night, and then spending time with you and seeing you has been so beautiful. You know, but we're rocking like the second day hair when you have an event.
Yes.
You know, there's nothing better.
Second day hair, red wine voice, all the things, lots of bubbly. Yes. Okay. So before we get to your expertise, you came in town for this dinner. What's the first thing that you felt or saw or noticed when you walked into the room last night?
Well, I think first I had big expectations. Anything attached that, well, like with you.
Ding, big expectations.
Absolutely.
And I love that she said it.
Yeah.
Thank you for just telling me that.
Absolutely, because I'm like, I know where you spend your energy, it's going to be incredible, and it's very purposeful. And so when I went into it, I was like, this is going to be incredible, and like it far exceeded what even I had hoped it would be, and that's so beautiful.
Wow. That is very kind. What I'm excited about is, you know, you have a lot of change going on in your life. So I want to open it up for everybody. Tell them who you are, all the good things. I'm going to obviously start with the fact that Tristen is a real badass. That's the first thing y'all need to know. I met her. I think you just started following me on LinkedIn.
I did.
Okay.
I follow the unicorns.
Oh, hey, now I am a little bit of a unicorn and she follows them. And so naturally I knew that it was going to be a great fit from our initial conversation. You just showed up really real and you had a really cool thing going on. You had your corporate career in the startup world, and then you also are continuing to build this musings and modalities business that you also have. So Tristen's from Raleigh, for anybody who's listening in North Carolina, and she's really close to me in proximity, and I want you to tell us everything that we need to know about you.
Absolutely. So I am someone that the status quo isn't good enough ever. But I want to do that in a very sustainable way that doesn't come at a cost to my health, my mental well-being, any of that. And so that's my approach to myself and my life, my business, and those that I coach that are startups and founders and executives, because I want them to have a very balanced approach to showing up and having a real legacy that they can be proud of without having to sacrifice their values and what they believe in.
Yeah. So what does that look like in your experience, you know, inside of corporate and the people that you coach? Tell me a little bit about what you see every day.
Absolutely. A lot of times people need a common sense check, and they feel when there's so much noise, and especially when you're like, I'm worried about payroll when you're a startup, right? You're worried about money, you're worried about all of these things. And sometimes they forget like to look at things holistically. So it's oftentimes they're making a choice between building new products or maintaining their core competencies, right? What they already know they do really well and like got the first customers in the door.
Yes.
And in fact, they really need to do a combination of both. And when they look at things very like piecemeal, they start to lose customers. They start to really lose their market fit if they had it. And then they really start that either status quo or decline, and they can't get that traction back up that they initially had. And so I really help them to say like, okay, let's take a step back. You know, let me look at what you're doing, how you're treating your current customers. Are they overrunning your roadmap, right? Are they dictating what you're building? Are you a dev shop for them, right? Like, which is wild.
I think so, because as I think of like my own startup journey, right? I'm bootstrapping this thing. It'll be 2 years in January. And I absolutely was a development shop for the first year of this business. But I have to tell you, one thing I'd be interested in your opinion is I coach my own clients. Honestly, don't build it out until somebody has expressed an interest in it. And I coach them that the market and their client will ultimately tell them where they see them being successful and what to sell. I left corporate America selling Unicorn Leader, a book and a workshop and how to be a great high EQ leader. Who doesn't want that, right? Yeah. But that's not actually what's getting me my top revenue driving clients, which are my private clients. Right. And it's so interesting to me how this happens. And so what are your thoughts on that? Because I think there's a really fine line between doing market research by what people want you to buy and then or to sell rather, and then also recognizing that you don't want to have to be creating something brand new for every single person that flies into your It's fear.
Absolutely. No, it's two parts. So it's like, how can you make sure that when you make products, now everything's bespoke because you cannot scale, right? First and foremost.
Absolutely.
Secondly, one of the biggest mistakes I see startups making is they say they do like, okay, it seems like there's interest in this. I'm going to go build it. And they don't even have handshake agreements or signed contracts.
Oh,
and
wow.
when they don't have, especially signed contracts would be my preferred, but they have neither of those.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, where are the customers that said they were going to be here? Well, did you know, what work have you done, to really like nurture them or like set yourself up for success?
Yes.
A sales cycle for, an enterprise customer is very long.
Yes.
So if you take the time to build it and you haven't even started the sales process or have that contract in hand, you're behind. You're not going to hit what you want to do as a business objective with it.
That's a really great point. And I think about a recent transition that you have. Do you want to tell everybody?
Absolutely. So I am outside of corporate. Corporate's goodbye. Peace out. Yes.
Hey, we're celebrating
I know.
the freedom.
I've had the reaction where like when someone says they're like divorced and everyone's like, oh, congratulations. Like I truly, it's been nothing but positive. It's been so, even last night at dinner, 8 different people were like, I'm so happy for you. Don't ever go back. It's like, don't ever go back to him.
Yes. Don't ever go back. It's like when they're telling you don't date that ex-boyfriend again, like that's trash the first time, be trash the second and third time. Oh, girl, go ahead.
Yeah. And so I'm so excited to have really the capacity to focus on musings and modalities full time. That's freed me up to add more clients, add more startups, and just really be like, what's the next evolution of me? And it was so great last night to really be like, I'm walking into a room full of people. I know maybe 1 or 2 people. Tristen 2.0 has stepped in the room.
Yes.
And you just see when you're in the presence of people that come with their whole heart and very genuine, it's a safe spot to do that. And that's what you create is really like safe, curated spaces where you can show up and like, I don't want to say try on something, but maybe express a facet of your personality that you're ready to evolve.
Yes, absolutely. And without fear of judgment, I think, right? Because everybody who shows up in a community who can just show up as they are just gets to show up authentically without having to perform or to try. And when all of that stuff is set aside, you connect as humans first, and then awesome business kind of comes from all of that. Yeah. And so you've been in a lot of founder spaces, right? You've been at founder tables. You've been in founder spaces. You've been in the startup world for quite some time. How is what you experienced last night similar or dissimilar? And how does that inform now as you go out into the world to put your own shingle out and create your own thing?
Absolutely. I think from last night was very much that everyone is still working on themselves, right? Startups are still evolving. People are still evolving. And you do the best right decision for the information you have.
Yeah.
It's what people should do, both in business and in life. And it's like, as you get new information, you pivot, you evolve, and you learn. And that's such a beautiful representation of everyone I met last night that talked about their journey and talked about what they were shedding, which was a beautiful prompt,
Well, it is the year of the snake.
Absolutely.
Right? The year of the snake. And Tristen is into all this stuff. Like, I have hired her. She has done Reiki on me. I purchased 10 of her Reiki sessions for my existing clients and their Christmas gifts. Her thing is real, and she did some cord cutting for me. Explain this to the audience in very layman's terms because they don't want to be scared away, and they also want to not get bored.
Absolutely. I think we've all walked into a room where the vibes were bad. Where you're just like, I don't want to be here, right?
Yes.
And so sometimes we have relationships in our life. Sometimes we have jobs we've left, either from our own choice or not. And you're like, I don't need this energy anymore. And some people take water, they'll take a shower, and they're like, oh, I feel so much better.
Yes.
And then to take that a step further is what's called cord cutting, where it's truly the visualization of like, I can see some cords on people. We're going to shake them off. We're going to call in some energy. And then we're going to call in beautiful, like pure light and consciousness to fill any gaps that the cords had created.
And so for my cord cutting, in case anyone was wondering, I'm trying to remember because I was actually in a really bad spot, I think, when we talked. And I was evolving.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I was evolving communities. I was being kind of kicked out of one, although they weren't calling it kicking me out, but hey, I know what's up.
You were mid-shed.
Yeah, I was mid-shed. I was mid-shed of the year of the snake, shedding it all off. And I was just really bothered by the circumstances of this whole thing. Yet the community itself was of inconsequence to me because they aren't really my target market. And so I was like, Tristen, why am I holding on to this? I'm salty and pissed off over something dumb. It's sucking up some energy that could be used in my brain to focus on these new communities that want me and are super excited and are aligned to a $12,000 coaching offer, right? Like, why am I going to swim in a pond that isn't going to feed me? So what do you say about all of this in the context of what you've experienced and what you're building? reckoning?
Absolutely. So I think there are times when, in the case of identity, right? When startups have an identity, they're like, oh, the first couple people that like bought into our dream bought because of what we were building at that stage. And when they are mid-shed and they go, what is our next evolution of product? Who are you next as a person? It's really hard. Like that 50% mark, you're like, oh, do I go crawl back? You know, do I try to peel it back on, or do I actually release? And like startups really struggle, and that's what I love coaching them through, because they just need to be able to see like the end goal and have that like hope that like, no, more customers will come. It's actually expansive for you.
Yes.
If you stay there, this is now a footnote in your legacy.
Yes.
Truly.
Oh, well, what I love about this is I truly did feel so much better. Like the next day, I felt so much better. That afternoon, I had told all the people about it. So first and foremost, if you don't have somebody who does Reiki for you, Tristen, my girl here, is a great choice. And then also, I just really want to kind of like wrap it all up. We're introducing this concept of the ribbon of reckoning, okay? And so all of us have been through change, and all of us are kind of mid-shed or kind of coming on the other side of the shed as we near the end of the year. And so I always like to ask people, and I have a gong here for you all. Do you see my gong? Look how cute my gong is. Ding, ding. What is your ribbon of reckoning, Tristen?
Yeah, mine is that I am a growth amplifier, and there are no limits at all to my growth and what I can achieve.
Oh, her ribbon of reckoning. There are no limits at all to what she can achieve. And that is the last straw. This has been another episode of the Last Straw podcast. Let's tell the truth and build something better from it.